Yeah, I went on a guided tour in Cologne, Germany when I was an exchange student there. And I remember the guide had little candies. He'd ask, have little pop quiz questions, and if you answered one, he'd toss you a candy.
He's treating you like kindergartners. Why does he need to incentivize you? Hello and welcome. My name is Garth Sharif.
I'm Josh Sager.
And you're listening to The Fraud Complex, a podcast where we unpack wild true crime stories, fraud stories, without the murders. Josh, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever been on a tour of a city, gotten a guided tour of a place you haven't been to before?
Yeah, I went on a guided tour in Cologne, Germany when I was an exchange student there. And I remember the guide had little candies. He'd ask, have little pop quiz questions, and if you answered one, he'd toss you a candy.
He's treating you like kindergartners. Why does he need to incentivize you? Candy. That's an interesting choice.
We loved it.
What kind of candy was it? Do you remember?
I didn't answer a single question, so I.
You didn't get any candy?
I'm not a trivia. I'm like terrified of like the idea of trivia, and my social anxiety was at a peak during that period. So I didn't even venture to answer.
You're in Cologne, you got a tour guide, you think you're going to go see, the city, the historic sites, but he already offers an anxiety-provoking method of getting engagement by saying, you answer my trivia questions, I'm going to throw some German candy at you, whatever German candy is, and you're not enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I in retrospect, it wasn't. I feel like I enjoyed the ambiance of it, but the candy wasn't the thing.
Okay, well, I wouldn't like that either, to be honest with you. I'll remind myself to avoid that tour guide if I ever go to Cologne. So we're going to talk about this. This is going to relate to the fraud we're going to get into. So you've had an experience having a tour guide take you through a city. And I'm going to lead into your experience because we've done a bunch of these episodes on the fraud complex. You're upping your game if you wanted to commit fraud. We've established that. So I'm going to give you a little scenario. You are a tour guide. Pick a city. Where are you going to be a tour guide in?
Paris. Let's go big.
Paris. Wow. All right. You're a tour guide, and let's just say, let's give you a backstory here. You need more money than the tourist and the tour guide company is giving you. Why? Why do you need the money? What is it that you need the money for?
I'm a starving artist in Paris, but I need to keep up a certain lifestyle.
Are you a mime?
I'm a clown student. I go to the finest clown institute, but the mime is part of it. That's like
Miming is part of it, and it could be very expensive, the tuition. So you need some money.
Yeah.
So we're giving you a bit of the rationalization. So Josh, if you're giving tours of Paris, you need the money for clown school. Okay. I love this backstory. How would you commit fraud to get more money out of these tourists or the entire situation? How would you try to scam your way to get more money? What would you do? What's an idea?
It's remarkable how quickly I've just generated a scheme. What I would do is have like an optional dinner pub after party gathering. And I'd be like, the Parisian way is I take all your credit cards and then we split the bill according to what you order. So this way you don't get overcharged. Or you can use cash, but I'd make it up to them. And I'd collect all their credit cards and somehow make that, I guess, just go to the ATM somehow. And I don't know how credit card fraud works, I guess, but I would get the information that way.
That's really smart, honestly, Josh. Because, yeah, I got to teach you about how to do something with the credit card information. Because you got the credit cards, you can take photos of them. And then you just have the information. Now you got credit card information. You have the 3 digits on the back, the ones that are really needed to authenticate the credit card. And I love how you use the culture to break people down. Like, in Paris, we want to split the bill. Give me your credit cards. This is the way we do it. The Parisian way is the tour guide takes all your credit cards. We make sure that the splitting is not a hassle for you.
Yeah,
really.
We will accept any, like Americans, you tell them like, yeah, don't tip. It's okay. You don't have to tip. If you're going to tip, leave €1 and they'll be so thankful. And Americans are like, what? Really? But
That is taking personal information, credit card information. You can do identity theft. Okay. There's a reason I'm going through this exercise with you. One, it's that you are learning on this podcast, even though that's not the purpose of this podcast. And this is going to seem like a non sequitur. Josh, could you open up image number 1? Send you an image. Open up image number 1. There is, for the audience, a reason that we went through that beginning. It's called the cold open, I think.
it's a beautiful, beautiful snowy mountain peak.
Mountain peak. Josh, do you know what mountain that is?
I don't know.
You don't?
Looks like any other mountain.
It well, it isn't. It isn't any other mountain. It's the Earth's highest mountain.
That's Mount Everest.
That is Mount Everest.
Okay.
We've gone from taking credit cards in Paris, well, really gone from the tour guide in Cologne, Germany, throwing candy to the credit card scam in Paris to Mount Everest. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you know about Mount Everest? Give me a couple things that you might know about Mount Everest.
I mean, my head is spinning. I know it is very expensive to even get a pass to, permission to climb. People are raising all kinds of money just for the ability to climb it. I know those Sherpas, they do a hell of a lot of climbing. They don't seem to get that much credit. But a lot of CEOs go, and it's like, oh yeah, my Sherpa had been up like 4 times that day, and then I, went up and took a little photo, and I can tell all my business colleagues. It's almost like a status thing to get up Everest these days.
Yeah, you really drew out the income inequality, the social inequality in this. I love how you went right into the social issues of these hardworking Sherpas taking up 65-year-old tech bros to the top.
I think about Everest a lot. I won't lie. There was the Everest IMAX movie came out, years ago, and I was like, those cameras are heavy. Why aren't we watching a documentary about the guy who carried the camera up Everest? Yeah. That would be much more interesting for me.
I always wonder about that in any documentary, when the camera person's in the Sahara Desert, in Mount Everest, underwater. I'm like, what about the camera guy?
Yeah.
Because the host is not holding this 3-ton camera and trying to film it. And the host is... Anyway, that's another conversation, but I'm with you on that one, Josh. Like, what about the camera guys that are going up? So, notice how there wasn't actually any sort of structural information about Mount Everest, like how tall, how old, but a lot of people don't know. But people have opinions about Mount Everest, and that's what you got into. I will give you some facts, Josh, and let me know if you have any feelings about this. I'll give you 10 facts from Global Adventure Challenges, which offers, I think, tours to Mount Everest. Everest is massive, 8,848 meters tall, which for our American audience, where is they just have this in meters. I don't have the feet. I apologize. I don't know.
8 kilometers. What's that? Like 5 miles high? It's got to be higher than that.
I'm gonna say yes. I can't do the conversion. Okay. All right. Number 2. How old do you think Everest is?
Like as old as time.
Well, then time is 60 million years old.
Okay.
60 million years old. By the way, do you know where Mount Everest is?
The Himalayas in Tibet.
Yes, it's in Nepal, right? It's around
in Nepal. Right. Yeah. That makes
where
sense.
Tibet is located. Okay. We're cooking with gas here. This is a weird third fact. I don't know if I want to read all of these.
This is bringing up my trivia anxiety, by the way. So, congratulations.
I realize that now. I don't have any candy. You wouldn't be getting any candy so far. You're right. Maybe I should save these and not ask them as questions. I'll say the next one. Mount Everest grows approximately 44 millimeters every year, which is weird.
Okay.
That is still growing. It isn't actually the tallest mountain on the planet. And I would ask you what the tallest mountain is and why. But since you have clearly told me you have trivia,
K2? Is it K2?
You're still not getting any candy from me. I couldn't even mail you a fruitcake with this because you don't have it correct. It's Mauna Kea. I can't say it very well. I think that's in the Hawaii area. Oh. And it's because it's below sea level.
Oh.
This is the highest mountain above sea level. So there we go. This one is interesting. Number 5 is that we are pronouncing Mount Everest incorrectly. So it was George Everest that I guess was named after in 1841. This is according to the site. Everest, not Everest. Everest.
Okay.
I don't know. I like Everest. I'm glad they made that change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go for all of these. Oh, here. Okay, so this is we need more conversion. So Josh, again, I'll ask this: how much do you think it costs to climb Mount Everest?
250K.
250K. Now, I have a lot of issues here with the metric conversion. This is telling me this in pounds. Looks like it. 25,000 to 70,000 pounds.
That's not so bad. No, 75,000 pounds would be what, like 70,000 US, like
Is it?
100,000
We are not.
maybe?
Don't hold us to any conversions of things here. I don't know. But I don't know. That's to climb it. That might not be for all of the equipment. Let me just say, it takes approximately 39 to 40 days to summit Mount Everest. And the fastest summit was ever recorded in 10 hours. Okay. So, 10 hours and 56 minutes. So, Josh, do you want to climb Mount Everest? Is that something you want to do? You want to be one of those older, wealthy individuals that does it as some sort of, trophy to their life, if we're putting it that way?
I don't like the risk. I don't like the frostbite. I respect the challenge, but I feel like I could get almost as good, like, endorphin rush from, like, climbing a very local mountain, like, near my town.
You got some local ones in LA.
Yeah.
Like the Santa Monica. There's just something Santa Monica Hills, Malibu. There's a lot of things you can climb there.
Yeah, I don't need, like, 40 days of it.
No, you don't need 40 days. And you saw that Everest film, the documentary. I saw the movie. There's a movie called Everest.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal's in it.
Yeah.
And he's like in it, and spoiler, he dies pretty quickly. And it's horrific because it's based on a true story. All of these climbers go up, and a storm comes, and it's awful. Frostbite, people like getting apoxia, lack of oxygen, and it's like falling off. I'm like, why would anyone do this? This is crazy. But people do it. So, Josh, I was going to send this to you, but I'll just get into this. So why were we talking about Mount Everest? And why did we talk about tour guides before? We're going to combine the two together. Okay. So last month, there were headlines in the news, and I'll read the People magazine's headline. There are many headlines like this. And here's the headline for you, Josh. Tell me what you think as I read this headline. Mount Everest, or Everest. Everest climbers poisoned by guides prompting mass helicopter rescues in 20 million insurance fraud scheme, police say. What is your initial thoughts here, Josh?
Insurance fraud. It's so interesting. So many of these frauds go back to, like, the insurance. So what's the incentive to poison someone for insurance? Like, there must be some sort of a clause where if they couldn't summit, there's a certain amount of money that comes back. I don't see how that could come back to the guide. I don't know.
It's like a game. If you don't get to the top, then the money comes back. It's interesting. We'll talk about how it works. By the way, this is not our first insurance fraud. Insurance companies are not often the victims, and especially victims that we feel sorry for, but this is our second insurance fraud. Josh, do you remember our first insurance fraud episode?
Yeah, it was like the guy dressing up in a bear suit and mauling really nice cars and then collecting insurance money. Like, mauling his own car and his relatives' cars, I think.
Right. Josh, you want to open up, there's something called the bonus image. You can open that up just to, for those listeners that haven't listened to that podcast.
Yeah, there it is.
What are you looking at?
It's the bear suit they recovered from those guys who perpetrated that insurance fraud, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, so we did this. This is an episode. I think we called it Operation Bear Claw. You can listen to it. This is our second insurance fraud episode where insurance companies are the victim. So, if State Farm wants to sponsor us, or all states.
We're championing insurance companies inadvertently in this show. I can't believe it.
No, I'm gonna have a shower after this. But
you know what? Shouting out again to insurance companies. Again, this is something I didn't set out, but I have heard that one marker of, like, making your life better is just buying insurance. Like people feel like 10% happier just having insurance. It's the stupidest thing. It makes me so angry, but it's like you get good bang for your buck. I should just become an insurance agent.
Like, I don't want to like hurt our sponsorship possibilities, but it's a bit of a casino situation with insurance companies. They are the house.
Yeah.
They're collecting money for a low probability of payout, and so they're always gonna win, no matter what they pay out. And so when they deny claims, it's always a bit of a, Anyway, not you, State Farm. You're the best. Please sponsor us. By the way, we're gonna get back to Everest, but since you brought up Operation Bear Claw, they were sentenced. I just thought since you brought it up, and you saw the bear suit. Operation Bear Claw, that was what it was actually called. It was $141,000 in fraud. Oh my gosh, the Armenian names, which I'm going to probably not say well. Alifia Ruben Vahi pleaded no contest. This just happened recently. And to felony insurance fraud, and were sentenced to 180 days in jail plus 2 years of supervised probation. So there was a comeuppance to their insurance fraud, and I wonder if they think it was worth it. For that.
Yeah, if you're gonna go fraud, go big. That's one lesson of this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, good transition. We got another insurance fraud, and I told you the amount, 20 million, not damaging luxury cars. Josh, I feel like we've established a theme here. When we do an insurance fraud case, we have to have a role play because we did it with the bear claw. So this is another insurance fraud. We're going to do a role play to flesh out what happened.
Okay.
Josh, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So Josh, I am going to be, so the guides that take people up Mount Everest are called Sherpas. And they go up and down those things, and it's a probably very unglamorous, underpaid job. Not probably is, but I'm going to be the Sherpa, not just because I'm South Asian, but because I know the case back, just in case people were wondering. And maybe if you're only listening to the audio part, you didn't need that piece of information. But anyway, so Josh, you're going to be a climber. You can put whoever you are. You're going to, whatever character you want to be. You're at base camp. We're moving to go. All right. Actually, we'll just say we're a couple days in. We haven't gotten very far. I really don't know how Mount Everest works. We're like level 1. It's like a video game, like Donkey Kong. We're at level 1.
You got to go up in stages.
Getting up in stages. And by the way, just for those that are worried about any accents, I'm gonna play this with my regular voice, not to disturb anybody, my family, audience members, the entire country of Nepal. I don't want to do that. So just in case, because I was thinking about it, I thought this is a bad idea. So
you're
my
showing
regular
good judgment.
Canadian voice. Yeah, thank you. This is restrained because I really wanted to try, and I did test it out a couple times.
Maybe a bonus episode with fully offensive accents.
That's good. We'll save the offensive stuff for the subscribers.
For the paid subscription.
The paid subscribers. Who we really are when you listen to the paid subscription. Okay, so I'm gonna be the Sherpa. I'm gonna be nameless, like all the Sherpas. I'm gonna be nameless, just a Sherpa. And Josh, you're the guy that's got the 70,000 pounds, whatever it is that is in US dollars. So Josh, why don't you start us off? You got your stuff. I'm ready to go. Let's get into the scene.
I'm just on a journey. This is more about an internal climb than an external climb for me. And I have $75,000 lying around, so I'm gonna apply that to what's most important. I'm gonna apply it to getting a photo op on the top of Mount Everest. It's actually pronounced Everest. I don't know if you knew that, even though you grew up here.
No, sir. First of all, I've never heard such benevolence of any of the climbers I've ever taken up Everest.
Thank you.
That the inner climb. I think you are the greatest person to have potentially reached the summit of Everest. I think you will provide a light for all of us. But I do want to bring something to your attention, sir. You look a little peakish, little light in the face. Are you feeling okay?
This is my natural complexion. I have Irish descent. I'm actually concerned. Can I get a sunburn on Mount Everest? Do I need to wear zinc on my face like skiers?
You definitely need to wear something, but I'm more worried, sir, because I want to make sure your inner journey is realized. But I am concerned. I don't know if that pinkish hue is from your Irish origins. And I, for some reason, take a lot of Irish people up this mountain. I'm not sure why. Strange.
We love to climb. We love the climb. There aren't.
Are you doing an accent?
I don't. This is my regular talking voice. The inner journey comes with accents from time to time. But yeah, we love to climb, and we sing Irish hymns at the peak. It's a very big part of the journey.
Sir, you're slurring your words. I heard these words were coming together too quickly, and your pinkish hue is even more pinkish. Sir, are you okay? How's your breathing right now, sir?
I do feel my breathing is labored. I thought that might just be the altitude.
So we have labored breathing, possibly pinkish hue, not associated with the Irish origins of your skin tone, and some slurring of words. Sir, these are the three things that we look for, especially in those with Irish descent, to maybe say there's a medical issue that's happening with you, sir.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I don't want anything to happen to your inner or outer journey. But I am going to, based on my chart, and here's my chart here, the slurring of words, the skin not being so white, pinkish, or too pinkish, and just overall your breathing seems labored. Sir, I'm going to take a precautionary step and have you airlifted to a hospital. And this is only because I care about our climbers. I care about their well-being. We don't want anything to happen. Just going to check you out, and hopefully we can get you back up and running.
Oh,
How do you
no.
feel? Yeah, I unfortunately, it's not even a question. My Irish friend, Pete, or what's an Irish name? I'm trying to look for an Irish name.
McGregor.
McGregor.
First name McGregor, last name McGregor.
McGregor. Unfortunately, it's not something I can leave you with the choice to make. This is in the hands of your Sherpa. And I have already made the call. If you hear that in the background, that is the air evac coming to pick you up. But this is unfortunate. It happens. In fact, it happens primarily with the Irish. They're just weak-kneed people. I'm just joking. No, that's a joke that the Sherpas say to each other. We love the Irish, especially Conor McGregor. He's a good symbol of your people.
Oh, he is.
Okay.
Yeah. He if it was him, he would have made it.
He was airlifted out even before he really got going. We just needed him out there. The mountain said no. So, yeah, well, you're going to be airlifted out. Don't worry about anything, sir. You might be concerned about the costs of all this.
Yes.
But we made sure all of our travelers that come to climb our famous Mount Everest are insured. Your travel insurance will cover any of the medical issues that you are facing. Sir, I hope you're okay. I have another, possibly Irish, possibly Scottish. I can't tell them apart. Also looking a little bit in need of assistance. Thank you so much, McGregor.
Thank you.
Good time.
Oh, man.
And Steen. So, you have been airlifted out of Everest.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like, I guess you weren't there in Everest to know if the symptoms really made you concerned. Did I convince you that you were having some issues? Or did you feel...
Well, honestly, if the expert told me I'm unfit, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm going to be airlifted, and Everest is no joke. You can die if you're not 100%.
So this is what the fraud was. And you're right, there's a lot of reverence to the Sherpas. Not all the Sherpas. Now, Sherpas are good people. This is going to seem like we're putting insurance companies as the victims and Sherpas as the evil people, which is really not what we want to do here, because that is just not great for my soul. I think my soul will just leave my body if that's the case here. So listeners, it's not Sherpas bad, insurance companies good. That's definitely not what we're trying to say here. It's just the case that happened.
We've thrown accountants under the bus many, many times. We're not painting any one occupation as bad, but these are very specific incidents that don't apply.
Well, we'll talk about how specific they were. Well, what do you think happened? I'd set the scenario. What do you think the fraud is now that we did that role play?
So you mentioned there were maybe 20 cases or something like that this happened.
$20 million.
$20 million. if the cost is only, $100,000 or something like that, that's a lot of people they're not bringing up the mountain and somehow collecting insurance from. So I feel like this is like a long game or like a systematic thing. But here's what I'm thinking. You book a bunch of tours, you go up sometimes you cancel the whole thing using this scheme, and then you don't have to go up. You can fit in more tours, so you can lower your risk, because it is risky to go up to Mount Everest, and still earn maybe even more money from the insurance payout.
You use the word systematic because you're around the fraud, but I'll tell you where the fraud actually occurred. The biggest news item out of this, too, was not just that Sherpas may have been doing something with the insurance fraud, that they were poisoning climbers.
Yeah.
And there was, I went to the Kathmandu newspaper. What is that? Nepalnews.com. Nepalnews.com to get the source, because it's a huge document, because they've investigated this. So I just want to point out, just because I don't want to give the Sherpas a bad rap. It wasn't all the Sherpas. It was a few of them. And they were they are not making a lot of money, right? We talk about rationalization. They are not making a lot of money. There's an opportunity, because this is a chain of things. It's not just the Sherpas are the ground workers here. They're people above. That's why I don't want to throw the Sherpas under the bus here. But this is from what's called the CIB, the Central Investigation Bureau in Nepal. Their report to date, official investigation has not found any evidence of poisoning. Mm-hmm. So it looks like the Sherpa just kind of exaggerated any conditions, like I did with my friend McGregor. And got them off. Now, you're thinking about the insurance. So how does the insurance come from this? So you got to think about this. There's a whole industrial complex around Mount Everest. One of those things, two of those things, there's multiple things, but we can say two of them, are the hospitals that serve people who do get oxygen deprivation or get hurt. And to get them out of that mountain, because this is only from the movie in Everest, it's like you have to helicopter them. That's the only way. So these helicopters are sitting there. Just for example, have you ever had an ambulance to come to get you or a friend?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why that's a question I would ask, but have you had that situation?
Yeah.
You don't have to get into the details, because we don't want to make this a sad podcast, even though it's about fraud, but you've had that.
Yeah. $250 to go like a mile.
$250 to go a mile. What about an airlift helicopter taking you from Mount Everest to a hospital? How much do you think that is?
$25,000.
I don't know, but it's a lot. And if that airlift helicopter isn't being used, there's no one paying for it.
Yeah.
So you can see maybe where I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
What happened? What were they doing? The Sherpas were part of a group of people that really started with the airline operators and the hospital. Because they want to get insurance claims so that they can build the insurance company and get their profit from the insurance company reimbursing the hospital or helicopter company for the evac.
Wow.
Because otherwise there's no money. So the more evacs that happen and the more these individuals run through their hospitals, the more that they can have the climber file a claim to pay for those costs. And the climber isn't paying because they're insured. They're insured for travel emergencies. That's how this is working.
Wow. Very, very, many different stages of people involved in, like, very organized. Not
Really
just like,
organized.
one or two guys like, doing something shady, but this is like a systematic again.
Well, this is what the article said. I'll just read this piece of the article from Nepal.com, but it's from the report, actually. The scandal revolves around a well-organized racket involving the trekking agencies, so the agencies are involved, the helicopter companies, and certain hospitals that allegedly created or exaggerated medical emergencies during popular treks, especially around Everest Base Camp. And it's to trigger the international travel insurance policies of the climbers.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah, and they're milking these rich thrill seekers who, I mean, if you have $90,000 to throw at this Everest, I don't know, to me I could rationalize it as a victimless crime.
Well, I think that's an interesting point. Like, what's the rationalization here, right? I mean, there's been a lot discussed about Everest. I'm not an expert, but you're right. I think there's some idea that maybe environmentally there's a lot of garbage.
It's devastating that region, it's all being oversaturated.
It's a specific group of people that go up there. And so this is what we do talk about the fraud risk triangle, right? Because yes, at the end of this, we'll talk about the detail. The insurance companies are the victims, as it were. But what's the rationalization here? And the Sherpas, what do you think they're telling themselves as they like send McGregor to to a hospital?
Yeah, they're probably underpaid. They are doing something risky. These visitors are guests in their neck of the woods. Yeah, I wouldn't argue that it's right, but I could easily get there. if I'm a Sherpa being, and again, maybe who knows how much of their cut is. Maybe it's again, somebody who's organizing this, who the Sherpas are the last person to get paid, perhaps, and they're doing what they can.
I think they're the lowest of the. This, you said the word systematic, because that's exactly what they describe, systematic, because they are the lowest of the way the money's going, because they're getting the insurance money gets kicked out to the airlift company. And I'll talk about the details of this. I have all the details. Nepal.com, awesome site, because I did not want to read through the 1,700-page report that was created by the Nepalese government, because they are, of course, very concerned about this, right?
Yeah,
because even what we say about Everest being this or that, environmental, it is a massive revenue source for the country.
It's tourism. Yeah.
It's tourism, right? And so when this happened, they're like, what's going on here? Because we don't want to have climbers now shy away from climbing this thing.
Yeah.
So the money gets paid out to the airlift company, the hospital, and then they trickle it down to those that were involved in it. So it's a really sophisticated fraud.
Yeah.
But it's, again, sometimes we take a step back and say, yes, people get hurt and there's insurance companies, money, this and that. And, McGregor. Poor McGregor. Not Conor McGregor.
McGregor saved up. He's been working hard. He's been training.
Been working the peat. The peat.
Wait, what's the peat?
I don't know what peat is. What is peat?
What is that?
Is that grass? It's like Irish, isn't it?
Oh.
Peat.
I'm a bad Irishman. Potatoes.
Are you Scottish? What is the why choose Irish?
I did a 23andMe and I got a lot of Irish. Yeah.
Well, that's why I asked you the peat question.
Yeah, no, but I grew up in, British Columbia, so not a lot of peat, a lot of precipitation.
Well, what is peat?
Is that a moss?
I don't know. Somebody help us out who listens to the show. Maybe we should. I mean, we're gonna stereotype into the Irish here, but McGregor doesn't get to climb Mount Everest, and McGregor might have been ready to climb.
Yeah.
Right, he might have been healthy and stuff.
Once in a lifetime chance, blown.
Once in a lifetime, or the Sherpa might have saved him. Maybe McGregor wasn't gonna make it, and you never know. Just to make the Sherpa.
You don't know. This could have been a huge favor, but we won't look at it that way.
We can't look at it that way. Yeah. One of the challenges in this case, the reason it got such a headline was, insurance fraud, even though we've had 2 episodes of insurance fraud. Okay, and I have to take a look at the numbers if we're going to do a third. Will we get greenlit for a third insurance fraud episode? We'll see if this is the worst performing episode we have. Operation Bear Claw is okay. But one of the reasons it's got so much traction in the media is that the Sherpas were accused of poisoning. It wasn't just like embellishing potential illness. It was that they were poisoning. And it's not 100% that they weren't. I think there's some discussion about baking powder or something, and I don't know what baking powder was used for. Like, if you ingest baking powder, does that make you sick? I don't know. Baking powder is in this report.
Okay. I don't know. It's not like arsenic. It's something like create a little mild distress that is not fatal. Is that?
Well, that's exactly what they said. I mean, something to make some gastrointestinal distress. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like they were really just embellishing this.
You're in a very environmentally challenging climate where the air is, you're literally having to go up in stages, and it's just hard to be up there if you're not used to it. And so, any little thing. If someone, I think I would be extremely suggestible if someone was like, "You're not looking good, how's your breathing?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it's hard to breathe up here. Like I better get an airlift."
It's only level 1 of level, 200. You're like, I can't breathe.
Yeah, if I can't handle base camp, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
No, right? I mean, yeah. And to be honest with you, you've seen any of these movies?
I've seen all of them.
I saw that movie.
My wife and I love all of the Everest stuff.
You should see that movie. because that one was like a horror film to me.
Yeah.
Like, it was truly horrifying. I watched it because I felt bad. Jake Gyllenhaal has a tough death in that one. And I felt bad for Gyllenhaal. And there's another actor that's in it, an Australian actor, really good actor. And the way it seemed like that weather came out of nowhere, which it can. And Josh Brolin lost his nose from frostbite.
Oh, no.
I was like, I don't want to climb this thing. Because one of the things you don't know is how your body's going to react to that lack of oxygen. You can train all you want, but some people's bodies just don't rely. Yeah, I would also be suggestible to somebody saying, yeah, you don't look good. So, Josh, where do you think this starts? Where's the head of the snake here? Where did this... It's not the Sherpas.
I think in
They're at
the Trek companies, you mentioned the Global Adventure Challenges. I don't know if that's a company or what.
Yeah, there was definitely trekking companies, and I'll see if they were mentioned as well. Yes, you're right. So there's 3 companies that are mentioned, and it looks like they were also, there's a lot of connections with these companies to one individual, and there might be an association to some political stuff in Nepal. But here's how it went down in terms of each of the companies, I guess. So there's a mountain rescue service, and okay, here's what it says. And this is in the report. The mountain rescue service, and by the way, this took place over like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it started in 2018, I believe. And then one of the challenges in this, and where there's some pushback, is why it took so long for the government to investigate it. Yeah, so concerns about suspicious rescue practices emerged prominently in 2018, prompting a government-formed committee to look at this. And it wasn't until just recently that it came out.
So they weren't canceling whole tours. It was more like individuals. You know, you overbook a little bit, and then you send a couple people home. Or you know what I mean? It's like the airlines, they overbook, and yeah, maybe someone has to get on the next flight, but they'd rather that than have a vacant seat. You know, people drop out, and like, I could see, this is just like a very strategic business model.
It is, because I have the numbers for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the number, the 20 million comes from the insurance payouts that were fraudulent since 2022. It was $20 million in US, so much bigger than the bear claw. Go big or go home.
Yeah.
20 million's a lot, US dollars, okay. So Mountain Rescue Service, okay, there's 3 services involved. Like there's the charter, I don't know what the charter is. I guess there's 3 rescue services, okay, and I have all 3 here. So the Mountain Rescue Service, that can mean airlift at the hospital. So the number of claims that they had in terms of rescues during this fraudulent period were so this is the Mountain Rescue, one company in Nepal. 1,248 tourists were rescued. How many of those were fake, do you think? 1,248 from this service were rescued. How many of them were fake?
I have no idea. A third.
A third. So that would be, by math, around like 400?
Yeah.
171.
Okay.
That's it.
Like 10,
So that's like
15%.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of more math than I am as a CPA. I can't do this math on the fly. I don't know. People are going to be doubting my...
No one expects me to be accurate, so it's easy to throw numbers.
You just threw out a number. We'll say 15%. So 171 were found to be fake by this one company. It looks leading to claims of 167 million rupees, which I think is $10 million. So this is the biggest company that had... It was 171 people out of 1,248. But what do you think of that?
Well,
they did actually legitimately rescue quite a number of people.
Yeah, it seems like this is a good scheme because it's like, yeah, who knows? Maybe he felt better by the time he got there. But what's the alternative? You send him up the mountain and hope he or she recovers?
Right. I mean, you really are in their hands. And so I think this was really systematic and thoughtful because you're right. If they did a third of the rescues, maybe the insurance analytics departments pop it up. I mean, it was brought to the attention of the Nepalese government, but it's 171 out of 1,248 rescues that were fake from this company, the Mountain Rescue Service.
Yeah.
Next is the Nepal Charter Service. And again, the document doesn't tell me what these companies do exactly, but it's another service that I guess provides a rescue program. They had 471 rescues during this time. How many do you think were identified as fake by this report?
I was thinking like 50.
Ooh, you're not bad. Not bad. 75.
Yeah.
75 is fake. The last one was the Everest Experience and Assistance, or Everest Experience and
Thank you.
Assistance. I'm sorry, I really need to say the correct name of Everest. Claimed 601 rescues. How many do you think of those were fake?
Like 60.
I would have thrown you some candy.
Oh,
You would have got some candy from me. You definitely, whatever
I
Cologne.
appreciate that.
I'm going to go find out what candy in Cologne, Germany looks like, and I'm going to ship it to you. I feel it's going to not be the best candy, but I don't know if I'm not thinking Germans make good candy. Maybe they do.
You know, they make Haribo gummy bears. So
Oh, they do.
hats
Is that
off.
German?
Yeah. And the Haribo in Germany, it's like all the flavors, like flavors you don't get out here. They've like such a variety. Like we'll do a separate episode devoted to
Really?
that.
They have more variety of Haribo
Little gummy
in
bears.
Germany where it's manufactured.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder what flavors they would have.
National pride.
Really, I didn't know this. You're giving me some good information here. I'll definitely next time ship you some of these candies because you're doing a great job.
I can get at the gas station down the road.
But then you want to get the stuff from Germany. If I'm ever in Europe, I'm going to get the Germany located Haribo gummies and bring them
Yeah,
across.
you can get like the beer flavored ones or the.
Yeah, I was thinking beer or sauerkraut. We're into all kinds of stereotypes today. We really are. Our Irish and German audience, das Boot. So out of it looks like to be about my math is not great on the fly. It looks about 2,200 claims from these three companies. 317 of them were fake.
Okay.
And so these insurance payments came in, and then they redirected to all of the parties that were involved. So one of the questions you might want to ask, and you can ask me, and I don't know if I have a great answer, but why in 2018 there was concerns this might be happening, but it's only now in 2026, really in April of 2026, that we've learned about this. Why do you think it took so long?
Again, kind of a murky, whose judgment, like, who do you listen to? The tourist who feels like they got a raw deal, who's nobody feels that sympathetic toward, or the institution where there's a lot of incentive to keeping this is good for business. And yeah, the insurance company, I guess those are I bet those are the ones who really sounded the alarm bells that people listened to.
It doesn't say in this report, but I would think it's the insurance company. Insurance companies are always looking at their analytics, and there's a little bump based on historical. And I think part of the challenge, and this is raised in the report, is that 2018, we don't like to always bring up this part, but 2020 to 22, we're in the pandemic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And so some of the numbers gets a little bit wonky. I don't know if people you got to be a real. You know what?
Oh, this was exacerbated by the tourism was down.
Tourism is down.
I
Yes,
would
that's another
assume.
reason, actually. That's another reason to have done this.
Yeah. Right.
And it might have been hard for the analytics department to really know because the numbers were kind of skewed by that time, right? I don't know if more people were climbing Mount Everest.
You know what? It might have been
pandemic.
there was a lot of rich people being well, I got a year off, so I'm going to take the whole family around the world.
During the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now we got some money and the world's in disarray. It's a good time to climb the world's second highest mountain. That's really the first above sea level.
What did you do while everybody was sheltering at home? Oh, I started a second family. I climbed Mount Everest. I got 4 dogs, and then I returned them when we got called back to the office.
I started a second family. I like that. Took that with me on my trip to Everest. Some didn't make it back, but it was okay. I had the first family as a backup.
They didn't jump for joy when I got home, so I just set up with a new one and much better metrics.
Boy, to have money sometimes really opens you up for some amazingly good, benevolent choices. Real, soulful decisions. I would like to know how many people. I'm going to investigate how many people climbed Mount Everest during the pandemic. I mean, again, in some ways you say that's good because the poly economy depends on this to some degree on tourists. So you don't want to have the tourism shut down, but at the same time, it would have been an interesting thought. Because I don't know about you, Josh. When the pandemic was happening, I didn't think maybe I'll climb Everest. This is a good time.
No, I was less adventurous than that. But maybe there was some opportunities I missed.
I mean, even the fact that you would need oxygen, there's so many bad optics around doing that, but whatever. We won't investigate that too much. So, Josh, so we talked about rationalization here, like, and we're always guessing about this, but now that you've heard most of the case, and there is a mastermind, he's kind of the person who ran those agencies, and there's many people involved. So that's why I'm not getting into all the details of the names, because this is pretty systemic, as you mentioned. But what do you think, though? You feel like the rationalization we've kind of gotten to the reason why this might happen?
Yeah, again, there's like a good, almost like it makes sense. There's an opportunity. It seemed somewhat victimless, or you could rationalize the victim side. And yeah, it's just like a lot of people benefit. As you've been describing this, it almost makes me think of like almost like a mob mentality thing, like a mafia, like, okay, you do this, you'll get your cut, then you do this, you'll get your cut. Like, it's pretty organized. And yeah. I don't know what the culture of this is, but maybe there's some kind of, there's like the, more legitimate law-abiding side of this tourism, and then there's like, well, but there's also some gangsters who you have to actually pay them for them to let this happen as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't look to be sort of that type of criminal enterprise in terms of like mafioso type. It looks like to be more politically associated. There's connections to another politician, and some of these companies seem to be inside. And this is one of the things about fraud. This is really collusion when we talk about fraud. When you have a government entity kind of working with an organization, and then there's these lines that get crossed because there's people on both sides, and that they can. We're getting to the opportunity, they can override controls, right? You can have the government agency, the regulatory agency maybe look away. Mm-hmm. You can get contracts signed. You can do certain things on the down low because you have connections, and there's maybe a lack of a real thought about whether this person who's owning this company should really have that control, given that their family or this person is part of this department. And there's a little bit of that that's happening here with this.
This makes me think, like, every time I go to, I live in the US, which is like a for-profit healthcare system. Every time I go to the doctor, I'm taking their word for it, that I need these treatments. And in a way, like, there was no control. There's no like independent person being like, you are sick, you should do what they say. But what about the rest of us in like this very wealthy country? Am I getting more tests than I need? Am I being overprescribed? Shouldn't there be an independent person to check up on this?
Well, that's called, I learned this in the fraud examiner. It's called upcoding.
Upcoding.
So yeah, you come in and they give you, here, you need an x-ray, you need this and this, but you didn't really need that. But each time you do that, you get an insurance claim. And so that is something that's fraud that occurs in the medical industry sometimes.
And you're right. It's so easy to justify.
Yeah, it's actually a really good comparison to what's happened here, right? Because ultimately that's what they're doing. They're upcoding. They're, here's this person, in some ways could you rationalize they needed to leave the mountain? Probably they knew they might be able to make it. But ultimately they're trying to get them as many services as they can build to the insurance companies. A lot of them were unnecessary. So very, very good one. Nice. That's a good connection to go into a hospital. And the challenge is there's regulations that need to happen, but there's internal control breakdowns that occur here, right? Most likely, like, what do you think broke down? Like, why do you think this happened? What is it that needs to be in place to make sure? Because this is what the Nepalese government is thinking about. Like, what do they need to have in place to stop this?
Sherpas tour guides aren't medical experts, and it really should have stopped at the medical center, and the doctors should have been like, you're fine. Evac him back to the base camp. He's good. I don't know. I feel like, their sort of responsibility is to be like, is this person sick? No. Yeah. And then it should have stopped there.
Yeah. You know what this makes me think of? Do you watch the NFL?
No.
No, okay. Well, in the NFL, they have an independent doctor for concussions.
Oh, yeah.
And what they do is that they have a blue tent that goes up, and somebody comes off the field, they've been concussed because they're worried about, the head injury and the conditions that come with it. And they've made more reforms around that in the NFL. They take the player to the blue tent, and the independent doctor is supposed to say, can you go back into the field or not? One of the interesting things about that, because that's a control to make sure that the rules of player health and their safety, because they're often used as gladiators out there.
Yeah.
But there's often been a case, because that's a really good control, Josh. Like, get a doctor to do this. A fraudster is always one step ahead, right? They're like, okay, we have the doctor. What would you do if the doctor has to be the ultimate sign-up party, like an actual doctor? What do you do to like keep the fraud going?
You get Dr. Nick from The Simpsons to stand in. Hey, everybody.
Dr. Nick, great reference. Dr. Nick from the Simpsons. Yeah, you get this kind of shady doctor. I think about the doctor from Conan that always follows him around.
yeah. He followed him to like the Hot Ones episode.
The hot, like literally the
His
funniest
personal
thing.
doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. He measures his tongue to take his temperature. So you just get the worst doctor or doctor you can pay, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about internal controls, right? They cannot prevent something from happening. They can only deter it to a reasonably low possibility of it happening. But there are definitely control issues. There are, what we call related parties or connections between these organizations that maybe shouldn't have been there. Like, should there be a connection between the hospital, the airlift company, and the travel organization in this way? Should they be owned by the same person?
Right.
Because then you have an individual that can kind of connect them in a way that allows this to happen.
This is a small community, right? Everybody knows each other. I bet people are related. Like, I don't know if any of that comes into play, but you look at other frauds involving multiple people and there are sort of allegiances and like, who do you trust? It's people you grew up with, or I don't know. Could be unrelated.
No, but there's definitely that at play here. Like, some of the details about who's involved, it's a little complicated because this is like you can imagine from Nepal, this is like a massive story. For us, we're going through it. It seems to be a sidebar, but from Nepal, this is a major crisis because it's undermining one of their most important ways of making money in terms of tourism.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it looks like it's a wide web of people that are connected to the government and also that are related.
It creates uncertainty about like the fitness of people to climb. And, what if someone refuses to be evac'd and is like, you guys are trying to screw me over. I'm going to go up the mountain. Then they die because they were sick. Like it is like really shakes the foundations of this whole enterprise.
It does. And that's why it's interesting with this report and even the Nepalese news, the Nepal news. Like, this is what they wrote. The scandal has damaged Nepal's global image as a safe, reliable destination for adventure tourism, especially around Everest, permanently known now.
Thank you.
Everest, which attracts thousands of insured international visitors annually. And so they know this is a problem because it's going to hurt tourism. And what they're doing now, we talked about the fraud with Triangle. The reason that you'd want to do this is for money. The rationalization is, McGregor, who cares? I care about McGregor. I mean, you seem nice, McGregor. I mean, I didn't have anything against you as a Sherpa, but you were the 15% of people that I had to, like, get airlifted.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
McGregor.
He looked peakish going in.
He did look good. I mean, I could convince myself that you're not going to make it, so it's just saving you the trouble. You know? Because that'd be funny if the Sherpa just goes, this guy, he's not going to make it.
Yeah. How did they select? Was it like the guy who's too chatty? Just like the more annoying customers? Like, if I'm going to airlift somebody out, I'm picking the pale guy. I'm picking the guy who, like, won't shut up.
Oh
Maybe
gosh.
he snores. Like, I have to be in a tent next to this.
This is the Sherpa's revenge. You're right. Like, from guys like...
The title! Good title! Episode title.
Bitcoin's up 10%, man. All right. Crypto. And like, this guy's going out.
Yeah.
Taking this guy out.
No mountain for you. No Everest.
No mountain for you. To be honest with you.
Another title.
Sherpas have very little agency, I imagine.
Yeah.
And this might be one of the only times they have some agency. Because it might have been the directive, pick somebody out of the, what is it, 1 out of 12? Pick somebody. I'm like, all right, I'll pick somebody. I'm like,
I'm not gonna pick the hot babe. I'm not gonna pick the silent, sturdy guy who I don't have to worry about. I'm gonna pick the CEO who's always looking for cell service and who can't like, just like he's like needy. He's like, oh, I didn't bring my Vicks Vapor Rub. What do you got in your? Can you carry my Vicks Vapor Rub for me? I know you're already carrying like 40 canisters of oxygen. Sherpa's revenge.
Vapor request. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be that type of person. It could also be like you're just having a bad day and you're like, you know what? I don't like this guy's hat.
Yeah.
It's just rubbing me. Yeah. Sometimes you're walking down the street and there's a stranger, and for some reason, maybe this is just me and I'm going through stuff, but sometimes you're like, I don't like this guy.
That's not just
No-
you. That's the
no
human
reason for me to-
condition.
There's no reason for me to have any type of emotion to this person. I'm passing him in the street. I don't know him from anybody, but I'm like, I don't like this guy. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I just don't like him.
No, it can go the other way too. There's people I'm like, I like this guy. He reminds me of this other guy who I like. Seems all right. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I would have loved if they had some sort of rubric for this.
Yeah.
Like the Sherpas like, listen, if they're got the Kanye shoes, they're out. Okay,
Yeah.
we can't them wear that. If I hear 3 Taylor Swift songs in a row, gone. I want to know.
Yeah, and maybe
If they don't love Superman 3, we're just going to ask, what's your thoughts on Superman 3? We hate that film. Gone.
yeah. I feel like that would be, I don't know if this was the focus of the trial, but there should be another trial to be like, how did you make these decisions? And it might just have been like, oh, sturdy, not sturdy. This person's, maybe honestly they think they're doing them a favor. It's like, yeah, this person, 80%, they might make it, but 20% no, whereas this other person's definitely going to make it.
Josh, I've done some acting, not a lot. I try to go method for a little role play. I'll tell you that. And when I tapped into the Sherpa and the sort of the ethos, the way a Sherpa would feel about this, especially since I feel like they don't always get well treated, I feel it would be more erratic. I feel it could be like, this dude's not going to give me a lot of trouble. It could be like, you know what? I really don't like Belgium as a country.
Yeah.
I don't like the flag colors. I think they're a little bit, why have black in there? It's an odd choice.
Mm-hmm.
If I see a Belgian passport, you're out.
You're out. Yeah.
Or it could have been more, we'll rate the, strength, maybe the grip strength. They give them a handshake or something. That grip strength, that means they can make it.
That's a big one. Yeah, I could be like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of Germans. I took up a whole party of Germans last week.
Oh,
No more Germans this
no more
thing.
Germans. I mean, they keep throwing candy at me every time I answer something right about Everest. Everest. What would be on your rubric? What would make you want to say, I'm thinking this person, get out of here.
Oh.
You're out.
Are they big tipper? Do I get big
Ooh.
tipper vibes?
Tipper vibes. Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, that's a big one. Where like footwear? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want a lot of trouble. I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want someone who's got too much split focus. They brought their laptop and they're like, I'm like, are you here to climb or not?
You're taking out the ADHD crowd. I think I'd be on the casualty list here. Oh no. It's almost like I'm thinking it's like a teacher. They have, teachers do a lot of hard work. And you get that class, 20, 30 kids, grade, when kindergarten, grade 1, 2, 3, they're a bunch of those kids crazy. And you're like, if you had a choice of taking 4 of those kids out of your room,
Yeah.
the teacher would know which 4 kids. They'd be like,
Oh, yeah.
and they'd go like, take these 4 children, get them out of here. My life is 95% better. So maybe that's the way the Sherpas work.
Yeah.
Get these 4 guys out of here.
For the benefit of the collective, the climb is going to be more successful.
Oh my god. I just see like, a certain character, just especially that like kind of jerk guy that's like, I'm probably gonna beat the record. 10 hours, 56 minutes? I probably could do that in like 10 hours. Maybe the Sherpa's gonna hold me back though. Ugh.
Yeah.
That guy's gotta go. Well, we'll never know. We might know. Maybe they'll come out in the investigation. But one of the things that they're going to try to do is fix all the internal control problems. So this is what it said in the report. On the positive side, it's prompted calls for systematic reforms, including better real-time monitoring of rescues. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Better real-time monitoring of rescues. I wonder what that would do. What would that do?
Yeah.
Is it because the rescues were happening and later on they trying to figure out what happened?
Right. If it's like, if it's already happened, then what are you going to do? But if you're like, okay, we're going to bring this person in, let's get a third party in at this moment. It's just like more eyeballs. It's almost like there's less crime committed when there's like people who live in the area who have like owned the property or kind of keeping an eye on and stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And monitoring is actually a big internal control word. The more monitoring you have, you're right, exactly. More deterrent. Transparent billing practices.
Yeah.
So that's another one. Mandatory reporting mechanisms.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's a lot of authorization issues that went through when someone got taken off. Because as soon as somebody's taken off, it's already in play, right?
Yeah.
So it's had to be more sort of checks and balances to make sure someone, like, again, you don't want to err on the side of like risk and have somebody go up there that shouldn't, but there still be probably standard procedure. Stronger coordination between government agencies, helicopter operators, hospitals, and trekking agencies.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I wonder what that means. It sounds to me like government regulation. I think a lot of this is who's owning these companies and how much of them, the owners, are connected to everyone, as you said before. Yeah, so that's this fraud, 20 million. It's still sort of under investigation as to all the people that were involved, and I don't think we will get a little bit of addendum like we did with the Operation Bear Claw, where I go through and, you kind of want to know what happened with those 3 individuals. But the insurance company, I'll tell you this, I'm pretty sure the insurance company is going to find a way to get their money back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Insurance company is going to be okay with this. So we're going to have to see if insurance frauds are where our money maker is in this podcast world.
Well, this was a great case. Like, I hadn't heard of it. And it's like an interesting world. And it's not victimless, but it was interesting to just get into the headspace of like, if I was in that situation as a Sherpa, as someone running these tours, like, yeah, and the COVID hit and like business is down and like, what would I do? Got to pay for this helicopter, and yeah, I don't know. Just, it was a great choice.
Yeah, and I think, if you look at the company owners, they're probably pretty wealthy in Nepal, right? So they're, do they need to really be doing this? Unless their companies are really suffering and they're going to go bankrupt. Who knows? Maybe there was an incentive because the helicopter company, they got the helicopters, there are costs associated with just sitting on the platforms. Mm-hmm. But from the Sherpa's point of view, right, it might have been still a tough ethical choice, but in some ways, if you do rationalize it, like, this person may not make it. Josh, here's a question. You and I, we rob a bank or commit a heist at the Louvre, steal some maple syrup, commit a fraud against the Mennonites. What else I think? We've done a lot. We do something to get some money.
Yeah. Stealing some gold bars.
Stealing some gold bars from an airplane. And we get money. We say, Josh, let's do it. Let's climb Mount Everest. Do we make it? If this fraud is still going on, are they going to airlift us out of here?
I think you've got a good chance. I feel
I
like
might be one of the Wait, why is the Sherpa here like with the climber? No, I'm a climber.
You push yourself.
Sure.
You push yourself. You do mixed martial arts. You do these things that I don't do. I do a gentle jog around the river, or the river trail, and I'm walking like 15% of the time. I don't think I have 40 days in me for this climb, but I believe in you. I'd put money on you.
See that though? They could look at you and go, "This guy's a jogger."
If they're sending one of us home, they're
he's a TV writer. He's not gonna make it.
He doesn't he doesn't have the eye of the tiger that's required.
Listen, from what I know about the TV business, you gotta have some perseverance, Josh. So I think you're underselling yourself. I think that's the world that you're in.
That's a good point, but it's a perseverance of not the physical kind. Perseverance of the emotions.
Well, I think there's a lot of emotions that go up into Everest. You talk about your inner climb. I think you'd be all right. Listen, Josh, all you gotta say is, listen, I get Emmy screeners to review nowadays. I can get Everest is a small little,
my own Everest. We all have our own Everest, to climb.
Everest.
If anything that's come out of this episode is the correct pronunciation of Everest.
Yeah, well,
I feel like that's a major contribution to the cultural conversation.
And this is by the Western world, Sir George Everest.
Did he make it, by the way? Did he climb?
And by the way, it was called Peak 15 before that.
Oh.
Even though the Nepalese called it Goddess of the Sky, that's a really cool name.
That's a great name.
Why do we always change things? Oh well. And we not only did we change it to the Western guy who climbed the mountain, we didn't get his name right because we didn't like his name. Like Mount Everest.
Yeah, goddess of the
Mount
sky.
Everest.
Wow.
You know, I just want to say though, Josh, I think you're underselling yourself. I think you'd actually make it. Like I'm down in Achilles, and an ACL. I'm getting separated. I just don't think. I think I get to base camp and go, this is good for me. I'm looking up here. Everest looks good from here. I'm gonna go and watch another season of what would I watch now? I'm waiting for some seasons. Oh, Vampire Diaries. We're watching Vampire Diaries with my daughter.
My need for Everest was satiated by the movie about Everest that comes out every 5 years or so. I'm like, oh, I can revisit.
Did they make it in those? Did they make it? It's like a positive documentary. It's not like they all die or
There's
anything.
always a documentary or a movie, and it's usually they choose a story where somebody died. And what I love about like a sort of like a memoir type movie is that sometimes the main character dies in a way you just don't expect in a purely fictional version. Like the star of the movie never just dies 2/3 of the way in, but in Jake Gyllenhaal's case, he just croaks because that's what happened, and you just have to deal with that as a viewer. And it's sort of a fascinating, like, your expectations aren't fulfilled in kind of a cool way.
It's just like he froze to death in that one. He just like
Yeah.
it wasn't like an epic death. He was just like frozen. I saw another movie about a mountain climb that went wrong. I think it was called K2. And that like all of these movies that involve climbing mountains, it just feels like you're taking a bit of a gambler's chance.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that you can't control. Anyway, this is not supposed to be a podcast about warning or encouraging you to climb a mountain, but maybe it turned out to that. But the key is it's Everest.
Everest.
Everest. I did have one last image. You want to take an image 2, if you want to take a look at that. I don't know if that's the actual.
Oh.
But
So we're
that's-
looking at, I don't know if it's like a mountain peak or it's maybe base camp with some helicopters flying around, maybe some unlucky climbers getting evac'd. Majestic Himalayan mountainscape.
It does look really beautiful.
Yeah. Wow.
I think I see McGregor up there. I think they're coming for him.
Yeah, he's in the second chopper on his way out.
It was never meant for that land. There's not enough peat. Not enough peat.
Yeah. He can live in the cold Irish countryside during the famine, but Everest is not where he thrives.
I feel like we're gonna do well with because I can break down our listenership by country. I'm just see if there's gonna be an uptick in Irish and German listeners.
Yeah, we covered a lot of territory.
Maybe Nepalese. And go to Nepal. Maybe there means a lot of stuff in Nepal. You don't have to necessarily go to Everest as well, But
Yeah.
if you're one of those people that listen to this podcast and you actually feel like you can go to Everest, then please sponsor this podcast because you got some money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to go. But that's the way I would look at it. Josh, any last words as we come to the end of the... I don't know what we're going to name this episode. We can
Mountain for you.
No mountain for you. This comes back to the soup Nazi I find when someone gets denied, but I like it. No mountain for you. No mountain for one of us. And maybe we can have it as a polling question. You or I, who's getting kicked off? Maybe that's too personal though. Maybe if people actually answer that poll, I might. I've never really engaged in that way, but that one might be one of those moments where no, a lot of people don't think I'm gonna make it. And then, even though I was being self-deprecating here, I don't want other people to tell me not.
The answer is neither of us. They somehow select a third choice.
Yeah. I'm a CPA and broken. You're an amazing TV writer. You're doing some amazing stuff, Josh. But to be honest with you, do I even want to do it? If it's a bunch of people that are like us, which I don't think there would be, since it would be really cost prohibitive, but
I feel like when you'll get a good selfie on top of that peak that will be great for posting, and you could throw it on Bumble, and that's a good place to be.
There's a lot of pictures of these things. Could be Everest on Bumble and Hinge. You're right. That actually does help my dating profile maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe just to get something near it. Because I also thought I'd be okay going to base camp and just having a giant projector play a movie of Everest or a documentary on the mountain. To me, that would be satisfying. I don't know.
Like in IMAX, like the full
in
the
IMAX.
full experience.
The mountain is the screen, and then maybe, but then having taken the risk, I'm kind of there. I wouldn't put that on Bumble. If I have a picture of myself on at Everest on Bumble, that I climbed that thing.
Yeah, yeah. And you can be like, it's actually pronounced Everest.
Everest.
That's
no.
what I
Listen,
learned.
If I go on a date, I'm going to say that now. Have you ever climbed something like Mount Everest? Oh, no, I've never climbed Mount Everest, but I talked about it on a podcast called The Frog Complex.
Yeah. So
My dating life is going to improve immensely from this episode. We get the pronunciation and some tips for dating and some changes to my Bumble and Hinge profile forthcoming.
Yeah. It's good.
All right, Josh, thanks for this one. This has been a great episode. Do we want to close it out?
Yes, but I need my cheat sheet.
I don't know how we close these things out. I never have the close.
I don't think we need to close it. I think people know where to go. Look in the show notes. Email us with your questions, your ideas of fraud, and vote. Vote who's going to make it. Me or Garth.
Hurt our feelings, both of us. I could put an option for neither, or both. Both will make it, or neither will make it. Which one?
Both, neither.
And also, just as we close, we are ranked on a podcast list, they call it Million Podcast List, as one of the top con artist podcasts out there.
Yes.
So
yes.
That is cool. People
We're in good company.
are
It's some great
learning.
shows.
Yeah, some really great shows on there. So that's really quite an accomplishment. All right, Josh, thanks for this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.